Hi, my name is Roadrunner. I'm an Appalachian Trail thru hiker from 2022, but this year I just completed the Tahoe Rim Trail in Nevada/California. It's 160 to 170 miles depending on what website you go to find out the mileage. Just hiking right around Lake Tahoe. And today I want to go over the gear that I brought because it was a little bit different than the Appalachian Trail gear, and kind of talk about what I brought and maybe some of the things that worked or didn't work. So let's get started. First things first, what was I wearing? I was just wearing these yellow shorts that I bought from Amazon, and then this sun hoodie that I got for Christmas from my friend, and I don't remember the brand of this, but I will, put it on the bottom. And I used the sun hoodie just because it's a lot more sunny, a lot more exposed on the Tahoe Rim Trail than it is on the Appalachian Trail. And I decided I wanted to try out a sun hoodie, especially if I were to do something like the Pacific Crest Trail. And the sun hoodie itself, I really enjoyed having. It did keep me cooler than a normal t-shirt would. But the material on the sun hoodie, this is my first go around with it, but the material, it started frilling, the seams started breaking. So it is more of an expensive brand, but it didn't really last even just a small through hike. So, and then in addition, I do have a fanny pack. It's from Light AF. I also had this for the Appalachian Trail, so it still is in okay shape, but I do think I need a new fanny pack for sure. And then if you see right here, this is my pee rag. This is a lot more comfortable than going and just getting toilet paper for number one. So this is really helpful just to have, and I like to have it on the side of my fanny pack just because I don't like to keep taking it off my backpack. In the fanny pack, I would just have like a little Z-Packs pouch where all my credit cards and my driver license was in. And then I also would carry my sunglasses. So this is just a gooder sunglass case, but the sunglasses were from Tahoe. And I really like those sunglasses. I got them from REI and I enjoyed it. In addition to what I would carry in here is some lip balm, just because lips were getting very chapped, some headphones, which I never used, ever, and then also like a little paper, which I didn't carry for the Appalachian Trail, but it was kind of nice to have because I did do a little bit of a drawing one night, and it helped me kind of pass time. And then I also would carry my permits that I needed for the Tahoe Rim Trail. For the Tahoe Rim Trail, you need a fire permit for California, and you do need a permit to get into Desolation Wilderness. And that's really it with regard to what I carry in my fanny pack. Oh, I forgot my socks. So I have the Darn Tough socks, and I'm not wearing the Injinji toe socks today, but I usually have Injinji toe socks, and then the Darn Tough socks on top of that. And that has really worked for me for the entire trail of the Appalachian Trail as well as the Tahoe Rim Trail. I had 0 blisters on the Tahoe Rim Trail, and the only time I had a blister on the Appalachian Trail is when I was wearing my socks for more than 5 days and they would just get very dirty and grimy. Moving on to the pack. Oh, maybe this is better. The pack that I decided to use for the Tahoe Rim Trail is the ULA Circuit. It was a pack that I had been eyeing the entire time I was on the Appalachian Trail because my trail family member Fox had one, and then another hiking partner Groceries bought one, and then when we were done with the Appalachian Trail, another hiking partner Lil Chap bought one. And so it kind of was like, not that it was peer pressure, but it's a backpack that I've been wanting anyway. And so since everybody else got one, I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy one too. And so this is again, the Circuit ULA. And one of the reasons why I wanted it was because it's supposed to be really comfortable with regard to the shoulder straps. It also had load lifters, which I didn't have for the Appalachian Trail. On the Appalachian Trail, I had a Hyperlight Wind Rider, and Hyperlight doesn't really come with any load lifters, so I wanted to see if I would need them, and I ended up not really needing load lifters. So, and then also I liked it because of these shock cords right in front. I really loved how my hiking partner Fox would have the camp shoes like this, and I wasn't able to do that with my Hyperlight, and so it was something that I really enjoyed watching. And so now that I have the pack, I have a lot more understanding if that's even something I wanted. I did like how I put them here, but having them like this kind of prevents you from going into the pocket. It's like very restrictive. You have to really dig deep. And so I'm not sure that I would go with this setup on the next hike. I probably would do what I did before. If you see, I have little loops attached to it, and then I would just use like a carabiner and kind of attach them. They would be more free hanging and flying a little bit, but I kind of enjoyed that better because that way I have better access in getting into the pocket, and it was just restrictive having them like that. It looks really nice and tight, but it didn't really it wasn't really the benefit that I thought it would be. Okay, so let's look at what I have on the outside of my pack, and then we'll go in. And the way I have the pack right now is how I packed it for the entire through hike of the Tahoe Rim Trail. Also, if the sound is a little bit interesting, I do have air conditioning right next to me, so it will come off and on. And I'm in Florida, so I'm not gonna shut off my air conditioning because I'll be sweating to death, and I might as well have done the video outside. So I hope you can hear me, but air conditioning is gonna be really important. It's really hot in Florida right now. So let's look. Okay, what we'll do with the pockets, right? So maybe first thing we're going to do what I have in the front of my pack. Well, I do have the pack towel, which is helpful for wiping sweat. But for myself, it was mainly when my nose was running, which it was running a lot. And then once I did the nose thing, you know, helping with cleaning up my face. And then I have a bottle holder that does not come with a backpack. I bought that on Etsy, and it's the same bottle holder that I used for the Appalachian Trail. Not the exact same, because the one I used on the AT was breaking. So I just bought the same holder from the same company, and I really enjoy having it in the front. I also have this little thermostat. This is one that I used for the AT as well, and the batteries lasted the entire Appalachian Trail, but then just before the TRT, the batteries were out, so I had to change them. But it'll give you a good idea how long they last. So yeah, and it gives you temperatures in Fahrenheit or Celsius, which is really, really nice. I did attach it with a Z-Pex carabiner. These are really light, so I enjoy that. I use a 1 liter smart water bottle, and then another 1 liter smart water bottle for the dirty water. I put a red X's on it so that it reminds me that that's dirty water. It's just something that helps me keep that in mind when I'm sleeping in my tent at night and I'm thirsty, and it allows me just to kind of like pay attention to what I'm drinking. And I used to have like a cap on top of it that had an X, but I thought maybe putting it on the outside of the bottle is a little bit smarter. Now also I did, for this hike, I had a Garmin Messenger, which was really helpful because it allowed me to send messages to when I started my hike as well as when I ended my hike, and it just made my family feel a little bit more comfortable because this was my first hike that I did all by myself. With regard to meaning, I did the AT by myself as well, but there were always people around when I went camping. But for the Tahoe Rim Trail, there were no people around when I was camping. I think out of the 12 days I was on trail, there were only 2 nights where I had people around me. And so yeah, so this was really helpful as a solo female hiker, or any kind of solo hiker, but as a female hiker, it's, you know, helps you feel a lot more comfortable. I do have some extra pockets on the hip belt. So what I would keep in there, whoa, I got another Cliff Bar, I forgot. Nice. And another layer bar, woohoo. Okay, so what I would actually keep in there is I did get one of those face sun protecting things. I don't think this is necessarily the most healthy, but I'm going to start looking for some more natural or some healthier sun protection creams. But for the Tahoe Rim Trail, I did feel like I needed that. I didn't really bring any for the AT. There's sometimes I would put some on my face from my Tramily members. They had some, so I would use some of theirs, but I never brought my own, but this time I did. The other thing I would carry always, oh look, and it's on, so I gotta probably charge it. I know it has a little security button on there, but I kept my Nightcore NU, I think it's 25. It's the best headlamp ever, and as you see, I added my own shock cord to make it a little bit lighter. And then the other thing I would keep in here is the whistle, which I never had to use because people were saying there are so many bears on the Tahoe Rim Trail, but I saw 0 bears. So I would have the whistle mainly not for during the day. I would get it out of my pocket, and then at night I'd hang it from the ceiling of my tent, like close enough so that I could reach it immediately if there was a bear around, and I could scare it with my whistle. So that was really helpful. And then the other thing that I kept in this pocket, not much, I'm trying, hopefully this will, I did keep hand sanitizer in there, and then a bug net, which I didn't use. I wouldn't say I didn't need it because the bugs were crazy on the Tahoe Rim Trail, but I just didn't use them. I was just trying to walk faster than them. But anyway, so I didn't use the bug net, but I would say that you probably would need a bug net if you really hate the mosquitoes. Not flies necessarily, but the mosquitoes. And then the other thing that I would keep in this pocket along with the water bottle is my tent stakes with the little tent sack that I made myself. And then also I would keep the extra water bladder from, I need to really clean this, from Sanok or Knock or whatever you say. And I kept that on this side as well. And then the other thing I would have is I would have the tent poles from my tent, which is the Nemo Hornet 2-person, and then also my toiletry bag. I tend to put my toilet paper into one of these dog bags just to protect it a little bit more. And then I also have the deuce, and as you can see, I wrapped it with some duct tape because it is kind of painful if you don't have something on the handle to actually dig into it, because this material kind of digs into your hand. So I put some duct tape, I think this is duct tape, it's green duct tape, put some duct tape around it to help with the handle a little bit more. And I think that's it. Oh no, so in the front pocket, I also never used this, but I brought my rain jacket, which is the Mont Bell, and somehow my snow trekking poles, snow, whatever these called, snow buckets or whatever, got attached to it. But it's the Mont Bell. It's a very light rain jacket, but I haven't had to use it. And look, it matches too, my goodness. That's one of the things, like I really chose colors this time that were matching, and I didn't even mean to do that. So yeah, and I think that's it with regard to what I have in the front. Oh, I have this. This I typically didn't keep in the front. What was that? It's actually my my sleep layer for when I'm sleeping. It's no brand in particular. It's something that my mom gave me. It's Beach Rub, and I love these. The reason why I have them in here is because I was traveling with my backpack and I was worried I would get really cold in the airplane, so I just put it on the outside so that I could wear it, because I didn't bring any extra clothes. I was traveling in my hiking outfit. And I think that's it with regard to what I have on the outside, with the exception to, of course, my tent, which I had to put on top. The reason why is because I have a bear canister in here, and I probably could have squeezed in the tent, but I kind of liked having it on top. and it was easy access as soon as I set it up. So the tent is a Nemo Hornet 2-person. I did not bring the ground sheet that came with it, but overall it was a decent tent. I will talk more about what I think of the tent and whether I would bring it with me for another through hike or not. It got lighter already once I put that tent away. But the backpack, as you can see, has those side cords that you can cinch down, and it has this front, can't even see it, this front cord right here that you can take over the, like anything that you wrap on top, but also to cinch down the pack a lot lighter, which is something that I really enjoy. I like when I can really squeeze it down. My Hyperlight had like a V shape, and I kind of enjoy that a little bit more than just a single strap. Okay, so let's go into this here tent, backpack. So first things first, it's probably the easiest way. Actually, no. I did bring some Cotula micro spikes, and I didn't use them at all for my through hike. I did not have to use them. There were some snow traverses, but I didn't have to use them. So these are micro spikes, and you put them on top of your shoes, and I had put them on the shoes before. I tried to put them on there, and it worked really nicely, but I didn't have to use them for this hike at all, which was kind of nice. I didn't have to use them, but not so because I really wanted to try out, and I probably could have just tried it out, but I didn't need them. So in addition to that, I always take my mid layer and I squeeze it so that I have easy access instead of putting it in the bottom of my pack. This is a Senshi, I believe it's a Ren. This is one of the lightest mid layers that you could possibly get. So if you can see, it's kind of see-through. The material itself, I don't remember, but it's something unique. It does keep you pretty warm if you have something like another long sleeve layer. Some people, they use this in conjunction with their rain jacket or in conjunction with a long hoodie. And what that does, it just really traps the heat nicely and you stay pretty warm. I will probably do a video about comparing this with one of my favorite mid layers, which is the Sky Goat. So I'll talk about what when I would use a Sky Goat versus when I would use the Senshi Ren. And then I also would keep on the outside my Diddy Bag. We'll go over that in a second. And also my sleeping pad, the wonderful Thermarest Neo Air X Light Women. And I would keep actually my quilt straps. I did that on the AT, and it's habit for me. And I would just keep that with the sleeping pad itself. So, not sure why I do it that way, it's just something that I do. And then also I have this Gossamer Gear foam pad. It's something that I received as a present during the Appalachian Trail, and I really like it, but it's in crazy shape, as you can see. I probably want to get a new one and then cut this down for like to have as a quick sit pad or something. But I use this under my Thermarest sleeping pad because I want to protect that sleeping pad by all means and measures, because it's my favorite sleeping pad. It doesn't come with that valve anymore, it's the old valve, and it's lasted the entire Appalachian Trail. I'm comfortable on it, so I'm trying to protect it as much as possible. So I put this under the sleeping pad. This helps to protect it, but as well as from sliding, as if you are ever on some sort of inclined spot when you put your camp. So I like this, I just need a new one. Okay, and then the other thing I have is, of course, my wonderful bear canister, which I'm such a fan of. Being facetious right now, I got used to this. I hated it at the beginning. It's 2.5 pounds by itself, something around that. And for me, that was just crazy to have something that's 2.5 pounds by itself without even any food in it. Normally on the Appalachian Trail, you just have a bear bag. I don't even know how many ounces a bear bag is, but it's not a lot, probably 3-4 ounces, if at all. And then this is like 2.5 pounds by itself. This is nice because you don't have to hang it. I don't know why they don't add a loop where you could hang it. That would be actually a smart invention. So anybody who has the means, do that. And then of course the other thing about a bear canister, it's extremely difficult to open, which is kind of the point for the bears, but it's also difficult to open for people, and mainly because you have to squeeze down into it, and after a while, when you're not used to it and you don't have calluses yet, it really hurts your fingers, and it was difficult for me to open until I developed some calluses. So yeah, this is the bear canister, and then you open it up, and I would of course have food in here. That's pretty much all I would have in there. And then once I was low on food, I also put my cooking pot in there to protect it, because at the beginning I had the bear canister and then my cooking pot was on the outside, and the canister bent my cooking pot a little bit, which annoyed me a little bit. I have the same cooking pot that I had before, which is the Toaks, I believe 600 milliliter. And then I used a little buff piece and wrapped it around my stove, which is the Snow Peak. Used this on the Appalachian Trail, still used it on this trail, still lasting long. It's a good piece of equipment. And then what I would do is, I would actually put that in there and then doesn't fit right now. Oh, right here, and then it, the fuel itself fits perfectly right in there, and then just put that on top. And then the other thing I would have in there is, of course, the lighter, right? You need a lighter to heat a stove. Boom, put that right in there, cinch it up. Now, a lot of people would be like, oh, you don't need this as extra weight. I liked it because it would keep my lighter with the pot, and it would keep it all nice and tight. And especially now that my pot is bent, this keeps the lid on top a lot better. And I like to have a lid because it does heat up the water better when you have a lid on top. And then all these things right here is just kind of demonstrating that I usually have food in there. And then, of course, I have a long handle spork. When I use this for the Appalachian, most of the things that I have I use for the Appalachian Trail. This I used for the AT as well. What was difficult at the beginning is, of course, these particular little ridges. They were very sharp, and they did injure my lips at the beginning. But once I got used to using a spork, this is very comfortable to use to eat either as a spoon or a fork. So generally keep that together. And going into the Diddy bag, I do use the Sawyer Squeeze bag that you get when you get a Sawyer Squeeze filter. And I don't know why, it's just comfortable for me. And then I don't have toothpaste in here right now, but I usually have the toothbrush, toothpaste, and then I do wear a retainer at night. I usually have that in there as well. And then I do have some wet wipes. I like this kind of concept of wet wipes better than the single packs, mainly because the single packs create extra trash. And I don't know, I like to have more, like the single packs make me understand how many I have left, and oh my gosh, I need to ration them, versus this gives me more options. I can use a few more, okay? And then I also have in this bag a brush, which I just needed to have long hair. And it's called a wet brush. What's really great about these brushes is they don't hurt at all. And I use them at home. I just have a travel version that gives me a little mirror, which is nice. And then you just take that brush out, and it's a really nice compact brush, and it's one of those items that I feel like I need. I bought this here Lake Tahoe. I guess you can iron it on. I've tried it, didn't really work. And then I have an extra towel, which I felt like really needed. I tried to not use this at the beginning, but I really needed to kind of wipe things down and feel good about being cleaner, right? Ooh, hello. And then I also have this Victorinox knife. And I need this. When I did the AT, I didn't bring this, and I regretted not bringing this, and I did. I loved having this. The reason why I love having this is because it does have a pair of scissors, and you think you don't need a pair of scissors. You do. You need it for your nails, you need it to cut something open, and yeah, you can just use a knife, but you can't really use a knife for your nails, and then you bring a nail clipper, and then in the end it's like, why? This is so light. Just bring the little tiny multi-tool. Honestly, it doesn't really make sense to not do that. I do bring some earplugs, which I didn't have to use because it was all by myself. And then I do bring a little bit of Neosporin, another hair tie, some Band-Aids, and then this time I brought, what's this called? Leukotape, but instead of bringing the whole roll of Leukotape, or instead of rolling it around like my trekking poles, I put this on some wax paper, and that helps a lot. First of all, it keeps the space nice. You can bring a lot more than you would otherwise. And yeah, it's just a really good idea to put it on wax paper. And then I did bring some extra, I don't know what this is called. This is something that you put on repairing your clothes, like your puffy or your sleeping quilt, something like that. I don't recall what this material is called. I also have a body glide, which on the Appalachian Trail, I kept that in my fanny pack, but I just brought this just in case because I had never had chafing until the Appalachian Trail. So I brought this just in case because it was a hot trail, meaning temperature wise, and so I was worried about chafing. Didn't have any chafing though. I did bring a tick removing tool just in case, an extra washer for my filter. I brought some water filtering tabs just in case. Another cap for your bottles. I recommend bringing extra caps. And then a nail file. And boy, I'm happy I brought that nail file. My nails get all brittle and crazy, so I'm happy when I have a nail file just to kind of like clean up those brittle and outside ridges. So that's all I have in my Diddy bag. Oh, I do have this, which is the tip for the water bottle. It does come with the Sawyer squeeze materials, but the cap always breaks off. But I did bring this because this helps me clean my water filter, and I'll go over how to do that at some point as well. Okay, and then the last part is all the clothing that I brought, which I really tried to reduce for this hike, just because on the Appalachian Trail I brought a lot of clothes and I was made fun of that I was carrying more weight than I needed, even though I felt pretty good with the things that I brought. And so if you look, oh, you can't see it, but I have a trash compactor bag inside of this just to protect it from extra rain. And then you put all your clothes in there. Oh, and the other thing that I put in there is actually my electronics bags. I do protect that as well, and we'll go over what's in there in a second. So, first things first, my sweet and loving and bestest quilt, Enlightened Equipment Revelation. I use this for the AT as well, and I love this thing, and it doesn't really smell that bad because I kind of protected it from smelling bad by using sleeping clothes and things like that. Love that quilt. What else I got? Oh, and I brought my Enlightened Equipment Torrid Puffy. Didn't need it, but I used it as a pillow. But didn't really need it. But again, people pack their fear, and clothes is kind of my fear, it seems like, because I pack more than I probably should. What else? Oh, I don't usually pack this. I usually wear this. My cool hat for sun protection. This is Kavu. I just liked the patterns and that it didn't look boring. Oh, here are my Injinji toe socks that I normally wear. They really do last a long time. And then I did bring my hiking shirt from the AT, just in case I didn't like the hoodie, but also as like a town shirt to have something extra to wear. And also as my pillow. An extra pair of underwear, which I'm not gonna show because it's my underwear. And then also my sleeping socks, same socks I used on the entire AT. These are smart wool, very comfortable. Probably need a new pair at some point. And then my ballet body wrappers, which I use as extra warmth. These are not really like rain pants or anything, they're wind pants, but I use these instead of a sleeping bag liner. It really heats up my body nicely, and I don't really need a sleeping bag liner when I wear these. I didn't have to wear these, but so they were an extra piece of pillow. As you can see, I do bring things that I didn't use, but I use as a pillow, so which is really nice. And that's really it with regard to the clothes. So I did definitely reduce the amount of clothes, as well as I didn't bring a sleeping bag liner, which is nice. Moving on to my electronics bag, which is the last piece. This is a Dyneema bag. It's not from Z-Packs, it's something that I got, I believe, from Etsy as well. And again, I use this for the entire AT and it's still in good shape. I do have my phone charging cable, and yes, I like to have a long cable. I know you can get those really tiny ones, but then you have your phone there and you can't really use it. I do have a travel charger, which has 2 little plugs. I am going to upgrade this because it charges very slow. It's just one of those generic ones. I do have the Nightcore energy bank. It's a 20,000 mAh, no 20,000 mAh. And it's supposed to give you, I have an iPhone 13 mini, it's supposed to give me about 5 to 6 full charges. And it's good, but being a vlogger, I probably need another 10,000. So I'll probably bring this as well as a 10,000 battery for any bigger, longer hike. And then also, lastly, I have 2 cables. Unfortunately, I need 2 of these. One of them works to charge the battery bank as well as the Garmin Messenger, and then the other one charges my headlamp, the Nightcore NU. And then as a vlogger, I did need one of these SD card readers so I could save all my videos on this card, just because if I didn't do that, I would have to delete a lot of videos. And that's what I did on the AT. I made my daily videos and then I deleted all my single pieces of videos and I would just save the big piece of video, and I regret having done that because I really would have liked to have the single pieces so I could do different videos, or it would have helped me with my movie that I made. And so this time I saved all the individual videos, like the 7 seconds, like all of them, saved them on this card. So now I have all my videos and I don't just have the single piece, which is great. And that's really it. That's it for what I carried on my Tahoe Rim Thru hike. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this helped, and see you next time.